So we are from New York City, the Lower East Side of New York City, which is an interesting part of New York.
Dave's from the Bronx, but
Dave's from the Bronx. My brother Jack and myself, Jeff, are from the Lower East Side of Manhattan, and I met Dave when I was a teenager in high school. Jack I met when he was born. And the neighborhood that we're from has a very interesting history, and one of the cultural developments of the area was a lot of strange poetry and strange rock music that came from the 60s and the 70s that came to be called punk rock, but it has a weird history, and I have this sort of lecture that I would like to present to you. Some of you may be in school and you're sick of hearing lectures, or some of you may just not want to hear lectures while you're on vacation, but that's too bad. I'm going to give you this very long, boring lecture on the complete history of the development of punk rock on the Lower East Side of New York from 1950 to 1975. We start with Harry Smith in 1950, a beatnik weirdo living in New York City. His huge collections were insane of Easter eggs and paper airplanes, and rare records. He had about 1,060,000. To change America through music was his hope, and to make some money because he was broke, he compiled a triple-decker collection of songs from his records, released as the Smithsonian Anthology of American Folk. On a Monday morning, just about 9 o'clock, the great ship Titanic began to reel and rock. Husbands and wives, little children lost their lives. Wasn't it sad when I said when the ship went down? Smith's plan began to work as foretold. This weird music began to take hold. It sparked an interest in these forms of life underground from the norms, and soon millions of folk records were being sold. By the early 60s, Dylan, Joan Baez, Phil Ochs were very inspired by these old folks. Then one strange folk band downtown called the Holy Modal Rounders began to make it more anarchistic with weird voices and drug jokes. Mom's out there, switching in the kitchen, and Dad's in the living room, grousing and bitching. I'm out here, kicking the gong for euphoria, euphoria. When your mind starts reeling and walking, your inside voice starts feeling and squawking, floating around on a belladonna cloud singing euphoria. That was 1964. Then in 1965, Lou Reed and John Cale in a Ludlow Street dive had a similar musical spin, also on acoustic guitar with violin, with even more New York street drug jive. Hey white boy, what you doing uptown? Hey white boy, chasing our women around.
Pardon me, sir, nothing could be further from my mind. I'm just waiting for a dear, dear friend.
Also in 1965, the Holy Modal Rounders met some other beatnik intellectual thugs on East 10th Street who called themselves the Fugs. The Fugs were recorded by Harry Smith playing the punkiest songs yet to exist. Lo-fi, noisy shit about poetry, sex, and drugs. I don't have a bedtime, I don't need to come, for I have become an amphetamine bum. If you don't like sleeping and don't want to screw, then you should take lots of amphetamine.